Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
Zara says, I have a son who is 10 years and he's having a bit of sensory issue. He bites his hand when he gets frustrated or when demands are in place. We tried shoes and he hated them. He doesn't like anything on his hand or his necklace. And he does use a communication device. I'm going to full screen you and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, great. And Zara and all of our viewers, it's so nice to have your questions coming in. I hope that we can be helpful today. So starting with Zara's question about 10-year-old who has a lot of sensory issues and he bites his hand when he gets frustrated or when somebody asks him to do something, a demand is placed. So let's start, as we always do when we are behavior analysts. What we're looking for is why. Why does he bite his hand? And it's let's separate out for a minute, because you said he has a lot of sensory issues. I'd like to come back to that and understand what his sensory issues are, how you see those, and perhaps you can write that in the chat for us. But this is biting his hand when he's frustrated or when a demand is placed is wonderful the way you've written it, because clearly a behavior analyst has worked with you, because you in that sentence already are telling me why he bites his hand. He bites because he's frustrated, or he bites because when a demand is placed, what is he trying to accomplish? A demand is placed. He bites his hand. What usually happens after that? As parents, we tend to be alarmed if our child does something like bite his hand, and we tend to back off the demand. So usually if a child realizes that they asked me to do something, I don't want to do that thing, I'm going to bite my hand. When I bite my hand, they back off. Then in the child's thinking, that becomes a really effective thing to do. So the thinking is, hey, if I don't want to do something, all I have to do is bite my hand. And it generally will freak people out enough so that they can back off and not force me to do the demand I didn't want to do. So that becomes a really actively effective form of communication. I don't want to do something, I'm going to bite my hand, because I know whenever I bite my hand, they back off and leave me alone. So what does that mean? That means that you should not back off when he bites his hand. That's like lesson number one. If you want that particular form of communication to stop, that's great. And I just saw that Zara wrote, no, we keep the demand until he does the task. You're doing the right thing, Zara. You just need to keep doing it. And you need to make sure that others in his world continue to do it as well. And if everyone does not back off when you place a demand and he bites his hand, what'll happen is eventually he'll realize, biting my hand is not going to get me out of this demand. Okay, I'm just going to have to do what they're asking me. Now, having said that, you also mentioned that he gets frustrated. How do we know he gets frustrated? Because we're making the assumption that maybe the demand is a little too hard. I don't know. You don't back off on the demand, but maybe overall make the demands a little bit easier, reward a little bit more. Whenever you're kind of tweaking things, it's sort of like our kids will reject things or express frustration when it's either too hard and you're still kind of forcing him to do it, but maybe it's just a little hard. So what you need to do is maybe give him a little bit more prompting and make sure that you give him a lot more reinforcer. That's extremely important. So if you want to go back now and write to me why, when you say he has a lot of sensory issues, maybe there's other things we can do to help him kind of keep, not overcome, really manage live with his sensory issues in a way that's more manageable for him. Does that work?
Sorry. Hopefully I'm caught up now. I'm going to go back. I'm going to come back to this, but in the meantime, we have a question that might have some sensory issues in it too. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.